The horror. The horror. So, I saw 2019's Cats, and this is for the 100th review on my channel. First of all, thank you for those who've subscribed and have watched my reviews. I hope you enjoy them. I hope I'm getting better. I hope I'm entertaining you. I know I don't joke a lot, but I'm still trying. I'm still getting used to it overall. But in any case, yes, I watched 2019's Cats because figured because a lot of my videos or thumbnails have been about cats. I love cats. I have 3 cats currently, and that's what I've been based off kind of the channel off in terms of art and thumbnail creation. So figured I did this, but I dreaded this big time. Before I go into the movie any further, this is by Universal Pictures and Working Title Pictures, as well as Amblin Entertainment. Yes, this is founded by Steven Spielberg and Kathleen Kennedy. These directed by Tom Hooper and is written by Tom Hooper as well as written by Joe Hall and is based off the written work of Andrew Lloyd Webber, original Broadway musical of Cats. So I'm going to read off the cast list, or I'm going to call it Cats because flipping the T and the S somewhat better, but frankly, it's kind of silly. But regardless, I have to read this one because it's a lengthy list, and I know a lot of people worked hard on this, I guess, but yeah, I have to read this. I doubt I'm going to remember the names. But we have Francesca Hayward, Laurie Davidson, James Corden, Judi Dench, Jason Derulo, Robbie Fairchild, Mette Narrative. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Idris Elba, Ian McKellan, Rebel Wilson, Taylor Swift, and Jennifer Hudson. So to get started, I want to talk about the how this whole play became a thing. The whole Broadway musical became a thing. This was originally by T.S. Eliot, who wrote a book of poems called "The Old Possum's Practical Book of Cats." He did it for his grandchildren, and soon, eventually, Andrew Lloyd Webber read the book as a kid, and he loved it. He loved the book of poems. That later on, as he got older and worked in theater, he created the play Cats, which released in 1981 in London and 1982 in New York. Also, another fun fact is that Judi Dench, who's in the film, who plays Old Deuteronomy, it was originally going to be in the play at that time, but she got an injury, tore her Achilles tendon, and had to drop out. So now she's in the film to our nightmarish delights. So, regardless, that's all I know about in terms of the book. I have never read the book of poems personally. As for the play, um, I never seen the play either. I remember people making fun of it a little bit early on, late 2000, early mid 2000s, I think, and I only remember like the kind of look or the costumes of the cast of characters or cats basically, and it looked kind of unique. It's designed well. They stand out. It looks colorful. Um, you know, Overall, it looks stylized. But yeah, I never saw it. And in terms of the songs, I hear a lot that Memory is the most memorable song, yet I have not heard the whole thing except for one little tidbit with Miranda Cosgrove singing it just a bit of it in the movie School of Rock, which is one of my favorite Jack Black films. And in this case, yeah, I don't know anything about it and how well it sticks with that source material. Now, as for the movie, well, as for first off, I forgot. As for like the reception, it's been praised heavily as this one big not medical, mega musical, and it lasted from 1981, 1982 up to the year 2000. So it must have done something right. But in terms of praise, it's kind of split at that time. Many people, it's very stylized, very it's very flashy, a lot of choreography and dancing. It's mostly that's the main idea. Is just it is all about the music. It's all about the look, the style, the sets and whatnot. That's my understanding overall. Um, but I think nowadays, when people look at any image of this whole show of Cats, it's kind of cringe. I think I would imagine it's kind of cringy nowadays. Not terribly, but it seems like a product of the time that many just kind of assume just to basically write it off entirely. But then we have the 2019 film Cats, and it definitely makes you not forget it once you see it. But regardless, when the film trailer came out, um, people were just horrified. It became a punchline for all the bad CGI that was on the screen. These naked humanoid cat people running around dancing, and it just looked creepy and weird. And granted, um, and then the studios, much like similar to say Sonic the Hedgehog, when they released the first look of Sonic in this human shaped form, and it was really ugly, and human teeth and whatnot. They decided to scale back and try to fix certain things. But where that worked for Sonic the Hedgehog, it does not work for this. I don't think any part of fixing the CGI on these characters, on these creatures, or whatever, would have helped the film in any way. Um, you can kind of get an idea of where I'm getting into. But that's all I know in terms of both the film and the play. But yes, I did see this for the first time today. And actually, recently, as I'm recording this, I did try to watch it again so I can get, back into the mindset of the mood, a bit. But in any case, let's get on to my review of 2019's Cats. So, what's the story in Cats? Well, I know the story, but when I first watched it, I had no clue what was going on. I was so lost in the story. But eventually, when I had to look this up while watching the film, and this centers around a cat named Victoria, played by Francesca Hayward, and she's dumped in the streets by her previous owner, and she eventually comes across the Jellicle cats. There's quite a number of cats. What is Jellicle? Beats me. My best guess is that's their name, their kind of group or gang name, similar to the West Side Story, Shark and Jets. But you got me. I don't know what Jellicle is or how it plays a big part. But in any case, Victoria sings and dances with a bunch of them and meets other cats along the way. Um, but the idea is that these cats are setting up a ball, Jellicle ball, where they're hoping to be picked by Old Deuteronomy, played by Judi Dench, to basically ascend to Heaviside, which is kind of like a version of Cat Heaven. Um, it's strange, yes, but there is a villain in this in the form of McCavity, played by Idris Elba, who wants to be picked to go to Heaviside. And that's the plot. That's basically the plot. this film astounds me because I really hate this film. It is, and a lot of that is on its CG. But regard before I go into it, because this film feels like something the producers came up, not the producers of the, because obviously the producers came up with this, but I'm talking about producers from like the films like the Gene Wilder or the Nathan Lane, Matthew Broderick version, where the idea is that they make this musical or play that is supposed to be so bad it that's the idea. It's supposed to be this bad so we can get money out of it. Similar to say Uwe Boll's video game films that often are very bad, but he gets a tax write-off from it and he gets the money from it. So yeah, kind of like that. But only this one, whereas in the producer's one, it eventually turned out to be good because it's so funny, it's so bad, it's good. This one, it's so bad and nightmarish. It is nightmare fuel, really. The CGI is very atrocious. The whole idea of having the actors be having their faces superimposed on these naked naked fur covered like cats that's supposed to be like more humanoid and with fingers, even a human nose and stuff, and it's just creepy. It is so creepy. Um, and the way they move and how, the positions they get in is even look very sexualized. So, and there's like moments where Rebel Wilson gets in the positions and I had to look away. And there's even a moment where, oh man, there's not only cats, um, there's even there's even mice and roaches, and they are even worse than the cats. They're not in the film that long, but even the mice, I was blown away because when it got to the mice, they were kids playing the mice, and I'm like, what, what the hell? I don't know what I was watching. I didn't know what I was seeing. I, it was just baffling to me. I, it was so baffling to me. Oh, so what about the characters? I could not care. I did not care because the lack of story. There is also lack of characters. Now, characters, well, not lack of characters, but lack of base of character depth or understanding, knowing them personally. All we know about these characters are through song. There's a song for one fat cat that I can't place his name right now. That's all about him wanting to eat or wanting to be thin, to be rebirthed, and played by James Corden, by the way. And I did not care. And he kind of goes away after a while, so I did not care. Um, there's another cat, Rum Tum Tugger. I forget who plays him. Yeah, that the Rum Tum Tugger is one I remember. Yet I don't remember the James Corden one. Um, while his singing is fine, again, he's supposed to be this curious cat, and that doesn't make any sense because aren't all cats curious? Or we're all curious. So what makes him different from the other cats that are curious? I don't know. They have these titles, and that's what it is, just titles. It's quirks. There's nothing to them. And because every song is about these cats, rather than evolving them, having them have a character arc and whatnot, you don't care. Even Victoria, I don't care because they don't even give her. She's just more of the viewer. She just looks at everything happening around her. That's about it. I mean, there are moments where she does try to help and whatnot. So, I mean, especially in the end, but I did not care. I cared so little about these characters. And a lot of it, I'm probably assuming that CGI. Again, it's hard to really care when you're looking so butt ugly in this film. Um, it amazes me. Um, I mean, there is at least somewhat of an arc involving one character, Mr. Mistopheles. I think played by Laurie Davidson. I could be wrong on that. Um, Forgive me if I'll probably list the name here. Laurie Davidson, or no, Mr. Mistopheles as the magic cat, where he's he does these magic tricks. He seems okay at it, but he's not average. He's average. He's kind of a klutz. But in the end, he becomes the savior basically by trying to bring back. And I'm spoiler warning in case you really want to see it. Is old Deuteronomy is captured by McCavity, and Mr. Mistopheles has to basically bring her back with his magic. And that one song segment number goes on what feels like forever because they have to repeat and repeat. It feels like it's been like 5 minutes to do this, and I was like, just get it done. You're going to bring it back. And even that doesn't make sense because it feels like it takes so long. And there's a scene previously where you see old Deuteronomy almost like, you know, is about to be killed or whatever. And it takes so long for her to come back. And I don't get it. I don't get it. Um, I should have also mentioned I forgot all about old Deuteronomy. She's the scariest cat on the in the film, especially one moment where she just looks at you and talks to you, um, and it's just beyond creepy. It's just downright scary. Um, what about the dancing number, dancing and songs? I mentioned the songs part. You know what? If in terms of the songs, it's hit and miss. Some of them are fine. I imagine if I was not watching the film, I probably would have liked some of them, even if I didn't know what was going on. And maybe yes, that's probably likely because I'm watching these horrendous looking cats, humanoid cats on screen. But most of them are fine. The memory one at least is good. I remember that. Um, Jennifer Hudson sings it, and while again the CGI doesn't do her any favors, she really delivers the song very well. As for other singers, Rebel Wilson, terrible. I know she was in Pitch Perfect, but I didn't care about her, at all. I she was like the worst of it. Though Idris Elba comes very close in his number, especially when Taylor Swift comes in and starts spreading these catnip and just getting it. It's like ecstasy for them, and it just that is just beyond creepy and be weird and awkward. It's oh man, this is upsetting me. um, but yeah, that's. But in terms of the choreography, I remember. I mean, it's fine. I know they're there, they're dancing. I'm sure they're giving their all. But again, the CGI does not help because whereas, like, say, probably in the Broadway musical Cats, or even say West Side Story, where you see the dancing, you see the effort, you see the hard work, the routines, the how they do the numbers and they sing and they're like experts at this. Um, Now, and they do, and I'm sure, like I said, I'm sure the actors in this film give it their all and whatnot. But again, when you have CGI like layered over their bodies and you just, it doesn't feel like they're actually there. It doesn't feel like they're actually moving. It feels like this is all done by CG and it's not impressive. Um, I mean, this would work I think this film would have worked if it was animated. It could have been animated, but I don't know why they didn't go for that route, other than just to keep within um, be faithful to the original Broadway play because that was live action. So, is there anything good in this film other than I say Jennifer Hudson singing from memory? The sets look nice. It's bright, colorful. Um, though at times when there's like an opening part where it pans down, the city looks more like a video game um, than it is like an actual set or stage of London. Um, the idea of having the cat, like these cats and the human world kind of built to scale. That's at least pretty good. Um, but otherwise, yeah, there's not a lot I could say about good in this film. And I mean, there's other worse things. I mean, Ian McKellan, Academy Award nominee multiple times, and you see an image of him drinking out of a milk bowl, and it's like, oh man, Ian, what are you doing? I mean, I don't know. I It's strange. It's a very strange movie, but maybe that's the idea. It was a big risk to do this live action version of Cats, and maybe because it was 2019, and even when we look back on the musical play Cats, and I don't know, I can't be the judge of how many who like the musical or have seen the musical necessarily. But I think nowadays, when people look at the musical version of Cats, the Broadway version of Cats, it does seem pretty awkward and whatnot. It doesn't feel like it would appeal to pretty much anybody. Um, but in because it just looks awkward and creepy, and maybe and in a way that's the one strength it has. It is faithful to the Broadway play, but it does not mean it's successful to the successful at all. It's you know I at least appreciate some of the effort, but it was a horrible, horrible misfire, and that has been made fun of and even um, mocked at one point about at award shows. But yeah, I almost rather watch like the Aristocats or even Catwoman. And even though that's not a musical, I rather watch Halle Berry's Catwoman than this any day. So yeah, you know what? I'm gonna give the 2019 musical Cats zero stars. Um, it's it's pretty down there. Yeah, I'm getting rid of I'm actually going to zero stars now. It makes sense. And personally, I mean, I would say zero or even or and a half, but I think zero because I it's one film I don't want to go back to ever again. Um, but in a way, I would say if you really want to see this and experience this, I mean, I would even say this is similar to say even The Room, one of the worst movies ever made by Tommy Wiseau. How bad and cringeworthy the acting, dialogue, the writing, um, the cinematography, all that stuff feels so off. Yet it's amazing. It's something that you should see to either laugh at or just experience how bad it is. And I think this one is about the same, not close, but it's about the same. Though I don't imagine you're going to get a lot of laughs out this. It's more nightmare fuel, really. Yeah, this is one I say if you really want to see it, get a group of friends. Get drunk or something or high or whatever, and so you can get through this and maybe laugh at it. I don't know, but otherwise, yeah. If you I can't I don't know if I can really recommend it honestly. I say don't go see it, but for some of you who may have seen it, what are your thoughts on Cats? Leave in the comments below. Leave a like or dislike the review if you wish. Feel free to subscribe to my channel and click the notification bell so you can get any more updates on any future reviews. And also let me know what your thoughts if you've seen the musical Cats, like even at back then in the 80s and 90s, or any other version of Cats that you've seen besides the movie. I appreciate to know what your thoughts on that, as well as you know in general, really. And then do you think it's a lot better or just about the same as the film? So yeah, I will see you guys in the next review, and thank you for subscribing to my channel, and I will see you later. Bye.